Hello and welcome to docrafts TV. Today we're going to be joined by Keren who's going to show us a really lovely Christmas tree decoration in the shape of a Christmas tree that's using the Tilly fat quarters and the felt and fat quarters from the Brights capsule collection. But first I wanted to show you another decoration which was actually featured in our November creativity magazine made by Sarah Linda, and as you can see they're beautiful, delicate baubles, which are actually made using just some simple poly balls, some glitter, and the really lovely Tilly large crochet flowers. And she's just added a bead and little end cap there for some detail. Hi Keren.
Hi.
Hello, thanks for coming along today. What are you going to show us today?
Just a little Christmas tree decoration, really easy to do. You can choose whether to stuff and sew or whether you can actually just do it with using the pinking shears and actually sticking together like I've done here.
Oh, I see. So you've die cut this one, then just have you glued them? You've glued
them
together.
Just hot glue. So if you can make it as difficult or as simple, but I mean the sewing's really easy sewing because it's just backstitch. So
we shouldn't be scared of it.
No, any beginner can do it.
Fantastic. Right, what's first?
Okay, so first you just need to make yourself a little template, and I've just made my template by folding a piece of card in half and then just making a little triangle shape, and these are great because it means that you can reuse them, keep them to use again.
Lovely.
And then I'm going to use this lovely Tilly Daydream fabric.
Oh, these are fantastic,
yeah,
isn't it?
really, really lovely. Now, when we're cutting out, obviously I'm using pinking shears, so you've got the pinking shears edge down. So what you want to try and do is cut them both together, because if you cut them separately, the sides won't line up.
Oh, that's clever.
So what we'll do, ideally you want to do it on the back of the fabric so that any pencil lines that I'm going to use aren't going to show. And then these lovely pinking shears, we're just going to cut down along the line. So if I remove it, turn the fabric the correct way around. Okay, and then again, when you're doing your sewing, I would recommend that you just put a couple of pins in, just to make sure that the fabric doesn't move. Okay, so we'll do that like that. Now, because I've got this needle here, obviously I'm not going to pin it together, but at home I would keep it pinned. And we're just going to do a really easy back stitch. So all we're going to do is I've knotted the end. I have I've got double the thread on here, just because I want a really strong, strong thread. So we're just going to take it from underneath. If you're doing this and you didn't want any of the bits to show, you could actually just take it from the inside.
Oh, that's clever.
But if you're not so bothered and you're a beginner, you can just go from the bottom. You could always hide it with a button if you wanted to. And then we're going to go forward, so literally just straight, take it to the bottom. And then instead of coming back up where you've just been, you're going to move forward a little bit so that the needle just comes out slightly ahead, the same sort of width that you've just done your first stitch, and then just take it down back to where you've just put the first stitch, and you're just going to follow that all the way around. But obviously you need to stop at a certain point because we need to stuff.
Oh, of course.
So once you've got, leave about half a tree's worth or slightly less, which will give you the chance to stuff it, and then once you've stuffed it and sewed it off, you're going to actually have this. What I didn't put in was this little bit here, which is just a square of felt. Okay, so I just cut a little square out, slightly longer than you want it to be, because obviously some of the felt is going to be hidden inside the tree.
Oh, I see.
Okay, so then I would just, before I got along to the edge here, I would just pop that in there. Again, add a little pin to keep it secure, and then just sew. So instead of sewing through the two layers, I would sew through the felt as well.
Fantastic.
So I'm just using a little bit more of the Tilly Daydream fabric. This is great, and actually what we're going to do once we've cut it out is we're going to stamp on it. This fabric is great. Obviously, it would be no good if you're going to wash it, but these Christmas decorations are not going to get washed.
No.
And this cotton, it stamps beautifully. Okay, so what we need to do for this setting, we're going to use 5.5 on the Express, and we put our base plate, and then I've got my little nesting dies here. So I'm just going to use the heart nesting dies.
Lovely.
So I'm going to use this size.
And these are quite a detailed die, aren't they? And we're going to cut fabric with it, which is quite impressive.
Yeah, it's surprising what these dies will actually cut. Yeah. So then we put the next bit, we actually use the metal shim with this one. Don't be afraid of cutting into the metal, it's designed that way. And then we're just going to pop it through. Now I've just put it through once. Now you will with fabric often get tiny little bits that catch all you need to do is just get your scissors and just release the little bit there. But you can see there,
perfect.
It's a really beautiful shape. And the great thing about the nesting dies is because it's scalloped, just like the pinking shears, it's not going to fray, so you've not got to start putting extra bits of stitching in, stop it fraying. So we've done our die cutting, so we'll stamp it now. So we'll just put some blue to match the blue of the Tilly Daydream fabric. Now ideally, you might want to iron this so it was nice and
Honestly,
flat.
don't know where my iron is.
Okay,
Find your iron.
Yeah. There we go. And you can see it's...
That's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah. So if we collect all the embellishments together, what I've put at the bottom is a little ruffle.
Lovely.
Now before we actually make the ruffle, what I've done is I've just frayed the edges. So I've cut a little strip off the Brights fabric. It's
one
lovely,
of my
isn't
favourites.
it?
I love it.
And again, it's not a Christmassy range, but it just shows that by using Christmas images, you know, you can make things look Christmassy with sort of surprising colour combinations. So I've just cut it, and you can see I haven't cut it terribly neatly. I'm just going to trim those little edges off there. So I end up with a little frayed edge, and again, we're reducing the need for seams and edges. With, you know, it's frayed already. It's supposed to look like that.
Big fan of that, definitely.
Yeah, totally. So when we want to make our ruffle, again, it's only a tiny bit of stitching, but it's not scary stitching because it's literally just poking it up and down. It's just a running stitch. So I've put my knot, I've just used a single amount of thread, and put the knot on the underside so that when we pull it through, we haven't got the knot showing on the top. So all I'm going to do now, let me get to where I've got. Okay, so I'm just putting the stitch down and up. And I mean, you don't even have to pull it through. I mean, I'm just going to concertina it through, down and up. You can see how quickly it is done.
That's really simple, isn't it?
Really quick. So you're just making sure that it has a little ruffle. And then all we need to do is just gently pull it along. Don't pull it too tight, otherwise you'll end up with that knot from the edge pulling through.
Sure.
So just be gentle when you're pulling your ruffle through. And then we just need to measure it so that we have the right sort of width. Okay, so that's about right. So all I would do then is just finish with my thread on the underside and then just give it a little knot.
Lovely.
Okay, so it's nice and easy.
Very simple.
Okay, so all we need to do now is assemble them all together. So I'm going to use, make a bow with some of this Lucy Cromwell Christmas fabric, which I love.
Very nice.
Ribbon rather. It's just beautiful
It's really
velvet.
just lovely to get all those different textures in there, isn't it?
Absolutely. The velvet's really beautiful. Let's have a little bit of a play. So I'm going to use as well, we're just adding lots of different layers. I'm going to use these lovely embroidery shapes from the Tilly Daydream range. And I'm going to use this little circle because we're just going to layer that behind the heart. Okay, and it all ties nicely together. We've also got some little bells to put on. Now I'm using these little sets of jingle bells, and all I've done to attach them together is use some of the twine.
Lovely.
So I'll use some of this Brights twine and then trim it down. And I'm actually going to separate it out so that we're actually using the cream. I mean, you could use the green as well, but it's quite a nice way of making your twine go a little bit further.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so I just pull it
I've
apart.
not thought of doing that before. That's a great idea.
And then just separate the strand. And then all I'm going to do is use one of the little bells and just thread it through. And then to stop it moving around too much, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little knot in the middle. And then it's not going everywhere. So to attach it all together, we're just going to use the glue gun.
Perfect.
Okay, so if I line everything up that I need.
Love it.
Okay, now the other thing, for the loop at the top, I'm actually using some of the packaging. The fabric and the felt come with this little tag and this lovely twine.
Brilliant.
So I'm going to use some of the twine for the top because it's too nice to put in the bin.
Nice and frugal, very good.
Yeah, totally. And then I've got some little buttons here, which I've got from the All Aboard collection.
Ah, yes.
So I've actually, because for speed and quickness, I've actually just put thread through already.
Oh, I see.
Right, so we're just going to add the glue. So just make a little loop, and obviously watch your fingers. So we're just going to add a little bit there. To be quick, stick it down. And you are going to hide these messy ends under the buttons, so don't worry about ends showing. And then all I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to tie my little bells through the twine.
Oh, I see.
So we'll just loop it round, and then we're just going to add a little knot to the top.
Very nice.
And then we're going to add, for the bottom, I've got some of the Rick Rack. That's Tilly Daydream as well.
Beautiful.
I'll stick it on and then trim it off, which is probably easier than me trying to line it up exactly.
Make sure you've got the exact size.
Yeah. So just add it on. And again, because it's Rick Rack, it doesn't fray, so you don't need to worry about
And even if it did a little bit, it's again, it's that same effect,
matter,
isn't
would
it? So it's not to worry at all.
So we'll add a bit more hot glue, stick our little ruffle on. Okay, again, it doesn't have to be straight. We're just putting it on to give a look, and then we just need to add and layer these little bits here, and then we're just going to add the heart at an angle.
Brilliant.
Okay, and then we're just going to add our little bow. And then the finishing touch is just to add our little buttons at the bottom.
That's brilliant. Love them. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
If you want to find all the instructions for making Keren's Christmas tree decoration, you can find full step-by-step write-up and all the supplies that she's used to make the project at docrafts.com. And we'll even pop the tree template on for you as well. So you can, if you want to make one exactly like Keren's, you can do that as well. If you've made some Christmas decorations or you're planning to, we'd love to hear about it. Do drop us an email to tv@docrafts.com and we can have a look at those, and we may even feature you on a future episode of Do Crafts TV or even in Creativity Magazine. Until next time, happy crafting.